First things first, drums are fundamentally about groove. So I like to think of the two most foundational instruments to a band as the piano and the drums. Why? Because in their simplest form, the piano provides chordal or harmonic structure, and the drums provide the groove, which is the rhythmic structure, right? So if you stripped everything away, as long as you have those two elements, you could sing along to it, you can sing in time with it because it has harmony and it has groove. Lots of instruments can play notes and chords, right? A guitar can play rhythms and it has chords, but in a lot of ways it's kind of auxiliary to the more foundational instruments because it can accomplish all of those roles, but once you get in the context of a mix like this, it's not its primary role. Its primary role is essentially to be a tambourine with notes, where it's just chicka, 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 filling in that space as kind of an auxiliary rhythmic instrument. So these are the foundation of harmony and groove, piano and drums. So what is groove? Groove is a term that collectively refers to beat and rhythm. Culturally, when we hear the term beat, we think of a pattern on the drums, right? Like this is a beat. Right, that's a beat. And culturally, when we hear rhythm, we think like, oh, that person has rhythm. And we say that about somebody who can like dance really well. And really what we're saying is that they have a good sense of tempo. Like they can feel the music and they can follow along with the music and they can do things in time with the music, right? So it's kind of the opposite of the classical definitions of beat and rhythm, where classically like beat refers to the steady beat of the music. Essentially it refers to the tempo. And rhythm refers to patterns like ta, ti, ti, ta, ti, ti, ta, ti, ti. That's a rhythm, right? Mm-hmm. And so they kind of have opposite definitions. So right off the bat, I don't want to be confusing. I'm gonna naturally gravitate to the classical definitions. So when I say beat, I mean like, if we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, each of those is a beat. And I might refer to like the strong beat or the weak beat or the down beat or the upbeat. And then rhythm is gonna be the patterns we're playing within that beat. And together those form the groove, okay? Let's imagine I have a band. We're playing a song in 4/4, so that means 4 beats per measure. So you count to 4 and then repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be a song in 4 or in 4/4. In this band, we have no drummer, but I have 4 guys who want to be helpful, right? Let's call them Adam, Ben, Charlie, and David, A, B, C, D, okay? So I say to Adam, right, Adam, we don't have a drummer. I'm gonna give you the first role. You're gonna be the lead instrument. I need you to hold the tempo down. Everybody's relying on you to not speed up or slow down, right? So what instrument am I gonna give Adam? I'm gonna give Adam the hi-hat. So the hi-hat is often referred to as a lead instrument. The right hand is usually the lead hand, unless you're playing open-handed and you're playing the hi-hat with your left. But we call this the lead hand because essentially it's the hand that's keeping the tempo. So if we're in 4/4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and okay? So I've got Adam holding down the tempo. His job is to keep everybody in time together. He's essentially the metronome, right? And so that's the role of a hi-hat. And I say, Ben, okay, your job is next. We have the beat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, but on its own, we don't know where 1 is. We don't know where 4 is. Like you could get lost in this and you're like, oh, I don't know where we're starting. So Ben's job is gonna be to just play the kick drum, okay? So we're gonna add the kick drum in on beats 1 and 3. So 1, 3, 1, 3. Okay, so now we've got some sense of where the downbeat is, where the strong beat is, okay? And I'm gonna say to Charlie, Charlie, you're next. You're gonna play the snare on beats 2 and 4. Okay, none of these guys have played drums before. They don't have coordination to play everything at once, but I'm giving each of them a single instrument. So Ben's gonna play the kick drum. Charlie's gonna play the snare on 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got kick on 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, and snare 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Okay, so now we have a groove. We have those 3 parts. Kick, hat, snare is everything you need to form a groove. David, the 4th guy, I'm gonna give the role of letting us know where we are in the song. So every 4 measures, I'm gonna have David hit a crash cymbal. Okay, so we're gonna count to four times, and on the downbeat of the 5th time, he's gonna hit that crash. So it's gonna sound like this all together. 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so every 16 beats basically, on the 17th beat, which is the first beat of the 5th measure, so starting a new section of 4 measures, he's gonna hit that crash cymbal, okay? That is gonna give us the basic structure of the song. And what's important is that each of those instruments is fulfilling a very particular role. The hi-hat has gotta be keeping time. A lot of pocket, when we talk about staying in the pocket or staying in a groove, relies on the hi-hat being the timekeeper, the metronome, right? And everything else is kind of subject to the hi-hat. Eventually, every limb should be keeping time. But in general, the hi-hat is going to be that lead instrument. David comes along, he says, hey, my job's boring, I'm only playing one note every 17 beats or whatever. I bet I could play that whole thing all together, right? Okay, so David comes along and he goes, okay, great. David, congratulations, you're the drummer now, okay? Because he can play all of those together. So we've arrived at a drum set. Is it complicated? No. Is it Super Bowl halftime show worthy? No. But it's solid, they're holding the groove down, and it works. Again, in this context, the hi-hat's the timekeeper, the kick drum is providing the strong beats, and the snare is providing the off beats, or the up beats. And the crash cymbal is kind of our milestone for, hey, we're in a new section, because we just finished 4 bars, and we're starting a new group of 4 bars, okay? So that's kind of the role of those instruments there. So now that we have those, we're gonna move on to foundational grooves in different time signatures.